All right, Star Wars fans, let's talk about one of the most chilling alternate timelines in the galaxy far, far away. What if that moment on the second Death Star went differently? What if instead of saving Luke and dying alongside his master, Vader actually succeeded in doing what he'd been planning since Empire Strikes Back? What if Darth Vader overthrew Palpatine and became the Emperor himself? Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like some fan fiction fever dream, right? But here's the thing. This was always part of Vader's plan. Remember that scene on Cloud City? Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son. That wasn't just a recruiting pitch. That was Vader showing his cards. He'd been scheming to take down Palpatine for years. So let's set the stage properly. Throughout the original trilogy, and especially in the Marvel Comics from 2015 written by Kieran Gillen, we see Vader isn't just Palpatine's attack dog. He's calculating, he's ambitious, and he's been playing the long game. After the Death Star's destruction, Palpatine literally calls him out, saying he's more useful being wielded than wielding power himself. That had to sting, especially for someone who was once the Chosen One. But here's where it gets interesting. According to official Star Wars lore, Vader was actually the designated heir to the Empire. He was the supreme commander of Imperial forces and Palpatine's Sith apprentice. If the Emperor died, Vader was next in line. It's right there in the structure of the Sith rule of two. The apprentice eventually overthrows the master. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, The Empire Strikes Back gave us that crucial detail. Vader wanted Luke as his apprentice specifically to overthrow the Emperor. Think about that for a second. Vader knew he couldn't take Palpatine alone. His injuries on Mustafar had cost him too much of his connection to the Force. He lost his limbs, he lost midichlorians, and with them, he lost his full potential as the Chosen One. Vader needed Luke's raw power combined with his own experience to make the coup work. So let's paint this scenario. It's Return of the Jedi. Everything happens the same way up until that throne room scene. But this time, when Palpatine is torturing Luke with Force lightning, instead of having a change of heart, Vader sees his opportunity. He's been waiting for this moment. Maybe Luke joins him. Maybe Vader strikes while the Emperor is distracted. Either way, Palpatine goes down, and Vader declares himself the new Emperor. What happens next? Well, according to discussions on forums like Sufficient Velocity and various Star Wars communities, this is where things get really messy. The Empire doesn't just accept a new Emperor because he won a lightsaber duel. Palpatine spent decades building political connections, manipulating the Senate, and creating a power base. Vader? He's been the Empire's boogeyman, the guy officers literally whisper about in terror. The Marvel comics actually show us Vader's relationship with the Imperial military, and it's complicated. The Stormtroopers? They respect him. He leads from the front, fights alongside them, and doesn't ask them to do anything he wouldn't do himself. But the Admirals and Moffs? They fear him, sure, but many of them were personally loyal to Palpatine. Grand Moff Tarkin, for instance, was Palpatine's friend. Would his loyalists accept Vader? Probably not without a fight. So what kind of emperor would Vader actually be? This is where the fan theories and the source material give us some fascinating insights. First off, let's talk about what Vader wouldn't do. Remember his line in A New Hope? "Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed." Vader hated the Death Star. He thought it was a waste of resources, and that the Force was more powerful than any superweapon. So in a galaxy ruled by Emperor Vader, we probably wouldn't see Death Stars being built left and right. Instead, Vader would focus on what he knows best: military might and direct action. According to fan discussions and analysis, Vader would be a much more hands-on ruler than Palpatine ever was. While Palpatine sat back and schemed from the shadows, Vader would be on the front lines, personally leading assaults against the rebellion. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Vader was pragmatic in a way Palpatine never was. Palpatine's reign was built on spite. Operation Cinder, which we see in Battlefront 2, was literally designed to burn the galaxy if Palpatine died. Pure pettiness. Vader wouldn't waste resources on that kind of nonsense. He'd also crack down on the corruption and cronyism that plagued the Empire under Palpatine. But, and this is a big but, Vader would also be incredibly brutal. We're talking about a guy who force chokes officers for the smallest mistakes. Vader's empire would run on fear, maybe even more than Palpatine's did. The difference is that Vader's fear would be immediate and personal. Officers wouldn't just be afraid of some distant emperor, they'd be terrified that Vader himself might show up and end them. The other major issue? Vader has zero patience for politics. Anakin never did, and Vader sure doesn't. Remember in Revenge of the Sith, when he told Padme that someone should just make the Senate agree? That's still how he thinks. Emperor Vader would probably delegate the boring administrative stuff to people like Grand Vizier Mas Amedda, while he focused on crushing the rebellion and anyone who opposed him. Now let's talk about the biggest problem Emperor Vader would face: his own children. Luke and Leia aren't going anywhere. The rebellion just scored their biggest victory, destroying the Death Star and killing the Emperor. The galaxy sees the Empire as vulnerable. And now the face of that Empire is the guy who's been hunting Luke across the galaxy. Luke's in an impossible situation. His father could have been redeemed, but instead, he chose power. That's got to be devastating. And Leia? She doesn't even know Vader is her father yet, but she's leading the rebellion's political wing. The Alliance would absolutely use Vader's coup as propaganda. See, the Empire is so corrupt, they're killing each other for power. Here's what makes this timeline so dark, though. Vader without redemption is a complete monster. He's not conflicted anymore. He's made his choice. And according to fan theories and some Star Wars content, unredeemed Vader would hunt Luke relentlessly. If Luke won't join him, Vader might actually kill him this time. There's no Anakin Skywalker to wake up and save his son. The rebellion would probably gain ground initially. The Empire would fracture with different Imperial warlords refusing to accept Vader's authority. We're talking about Grand Admirals like the ones mentioned in the post-Endor Legends timeline. Ambitious, brilliant leaders with their own fleets who might think they have a better claim to power than some cyborg Sith Lord. So where does this leave the galaxy? In a really dark place, honestly. Vader's empire would be more militaristic, more aggressive, and possibly more unstable than Palpatine's ever was. The rebellion would be facing an emperor who personally leads attacks against them. Imagine Vader showing up to every major battle in his TIE Advanced, cutting through rebel fighters like he did in Rogue One. But the fractures in the Empire would also create opportunities. With Imperial warlords breaking away and Vader unable to be everywhere at once, the rebellion might be able to carve out their own territory and declare a new republic sooner. It would be a bloodier, messier path than what we see in the actual timeline. And here's the really chilling part. Without that moment of redemption, without Anakin Skywalker returning to save his son, the light side of the Force takes a massive hit. Luke might have to face the reality that his father is truly gone, consumed by Vader completely. The prophecy of the Chosen One bringing balance to the Force? It fails. The dark side wins. So yeah, Emperor Vader is a fascinating but terrifying alternate timeline. It's a galaxy where the Empire might actually be more aggressive and dangerous in the short term, but also more fractured and vulnerable in the long term. It's a galaxy where the Skywalker family drama becomes the central conflict of the entire galactic civil war. And it's a galaxy without hope of redemption. What do you think? Drop your theories in the comments below. Would Vader have been a better or worse emperor than Palpatine? Could Luke have eventually brought him back to the light? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more Star Wars deep dives. May the Force be with you.